I'm continuously whisking the blood like this because it's started to clot. It's so disgusting. I have been vegan or vegetarian for almost 20 years. As such, I'm constantly being told by meat eaters that there are certain flavors and textures that I'm missing out on. So I decided to try cooking with the only ethical source of animal products I know of, myself. Hey, I'm Lee Curtis Taete, and today I am unfortunately going to be cooking and eating meringues made from my own blood. Blood apparently works as an ingredient in the same way that egg whites do, so I decided to make meringues because that's a texture that I don't encounter very often as a vegan. I'm not super excited to be doing this. I predict it probably will taste bad. Other people seem to be incredibly grossed out at the thought of me doing this, but I think I find the thought of it less gross than if I were eating blood from an animal. So I've tried to do some research on how dangerous it is to eat my own blood. Unsurprisingly, there's not a huge amount of information about that online. To try and calm my nerves a little bit, I spoke to Schälchli yesterday, who is a food expert in Switzerland that teaches classes on cooking with animal blood, and she provided me with this recipe.
What are you gonna do? Do you know which recipe you're gonna do?
The meringue recipe from your side.
Oh.
Is that a good one?
That one's quite a strong one. You picked a strong one.
Good. What kind of stuff do you cook at your workshop? Like, what recipes have you made?
We start out with blood from different animals, and we do test different animals, so like goat blood and cow. And then we do things like blood pudding. Sometimes we do blood brownies.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you're not an expert in human blood, but when we've been doing research on this, it seems like the health department said we shouldn't eat human blood, and a lot of stuff on the internet said it's a terrible idea to eat human blood.
Well, of course they say that, because if you're sick, you make other people sick. And that's why every animal that's killed is always controlled by the vet. So a sick animal is never sold. But the problem is you might be sick, but I won't know it. That's why they advise you not to eat it.
Right. Does it taste of anything?
It really depends on the recipe. If you only add a little bit of blood in a recipe, you won't taste it. It has a lot of albumin in it. It's a protein called albumin, which is very similar to egg. So you can kind of think of cooking with blood as if you would cook with egg.
Right. Cool. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye.
So she didn't seem super concerned about me eating my own blood, which is a bit reassuring, but not super reassuring because she's not a doctor. And I guess all that I need to do now is take my blood from my body and eat it. I'm here with a phlebotomist who's going to take some blood out of my veins and put it in these tubes. I am very slightly nervous because I don't really like needles a huge amount. I'm not gonna look when you put the needle in. I hate this. Now that I'm actually seeing the blood, I'm a little more grossed out than I was this morning. It looks really gross. It's so much darker than I thought it was gonna be. Is this the weirdest reason you've ever taken blood out of someone for?
Yes.
How much blood can safely be taken out of a person?
1 pint.
1 pint?
Yes.
And this is what
Less than
amount? Okay. The thought of actually putting this in my mouth makes me feel a little. The phlebotomist and a crew member are now shaking back and forth to prevent it from coagulating, which I don't think was mentioned in her job description. It looks really gross. Ah! So gross!
Starting to clot already.
Wait, shall I start whisking? Where's the whisk? Oh, it's hanging there. Oh. This is so disgusting. Oh my God, look at the whisk. It's like gelatinous. On the advice of the phlebotomist, I'm wearing some goggles, the only goggles I had. Okay, we have 140 grams of blood here. We also have a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of turmeric, 60 grams of sugar and then another 60 grams of powdered sugar. I'm continuously whisking the blood like this because it's started to clot. It smells like roadkill, kinda. No, I can't place the smell beyond just like general death. I feel kind of lightheaded. Is that from the blood?
You know what, it's
Draw?
probably because you like sitting there whisking it. You're probably not a person who likes blood, like you said, you don't like needles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably from that.
I'm preheating the oven to 200 degrees. We're gonna cook the meringues in there for 60 minutes. Okay, so I'm pouring the blood in first. That is horrific. I'm putting the mixer onto level 1. Ah! So that should keep it moving. And I'm gonna gradually start adding the ingredients. Oh, wow. The turmeric seems to have given it a more kind of golden color. It looks like it's thickening and foaming, which is probably good. Oh, wow, that looks truly disgusting. There's some little darker spots where I guess it's clotting a little bit. Ooh! It spat at me. I'm gonna put this over the top because it's currently flinging blood out. Ooh, there's blood on the sink. I'm gonna check in and see how this is looking. Oh, it looks quite creamy. It's still a very nice red color. I think all of the sugar is dissolved. I'm gonna keep it going for a while. Apparently, I need to wait until it gets into stiff-ish little peaks, and that could take as much as 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna give it a little stir and make sure we're not all coagulated again. It looks a lot better and more legit than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting like just a sugary bowl of gore, but this looks like it could be real food. So I'm just gonna try and pinch off this little blood turd. Oh my God, that feels so horrible. It's got like a little string inside it. Ugh. So I'm gonna transfer the mixture into this piping bag and then pipe it out into this baking tray. I'm not sure if this is what meringue usually looks like. I think right now, I don't know, it just looks sort of delicious. It also looks a bit like pink slime. I'm gonna try doing a few different sizes just to make sure I definitely end up with one that's cooked properly. Though I think there's a little coagulation blob in that one I just piped. Hopefully that's not the one I eat. So now I'm gonna bake these at 200 for about 60 minutes. There's currently quite a lot of blood splatter on the various surfaces of my kitchen. I'm now gonna have to do some crime scene cleanup and get this blood out of my kitchen counters and mixer and walls somehow, and self. So these have been in the oven on 200 for about an hour. I'm gonna take them out now and leave them to cool for a bit. They look almost like little chocolate cookies. This might actually be like one of my most successful baking attempts ever. And if I don't think too much about the fact that it's from my body, I'm not super repulsed. I'm kind of torn on eating them because they look delicious. Or they don't, I don't know, they look like hard little shits, but they look more delicious than I was expecting. I really don't want to eat them. And here they are. I'm mainly thinking about how disgusting they look now that they're under the bright lights. No, it's stuck. This one is especially offensive. It smells like dead things. This is gonna be my first time intentionally eating animal products in over half a decade. It's kind of cool that it came from my body. I feel sort of like maybe how people feel when they gave birth. You know, when they're looking at the baby and they're like, I can't believe I made this. Okay. Oh, it smells so bad. hate this. Okay. I really hate this. Oh my god, it's so much crunchier than I thought it was going to be. It's really sticky. It's like sticking to my teeth. Oh my god, it really tastes like blood. Okay. It's doing that like meringue thing of like becoming very sticky and like dense. It tastes so fucking gross. There's like two levels of taste. There's like a kind of nice sugary layer. Then blood. It really tastes like blood. Oh, and there's like blood on my fingers now. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try and eat this whole thing. I don't remember the last time I was like so repulsed while eating a piece of food. Maybe it tastes very slightly better than I thought it was going to taste. It's still really one of the most repulsive things I've ever eaten in my entire life. But if I like objectively think about the notes or whatever it is that people say when talking about flavors, it's not bad. I can taste the turmeric, I can taste lots of sugar. It has the consistency of a meringue that I remember at least. I haven't had one for years. And it's like eating a little baked nightmare. I think I probably enjoyed this more than if I had made it using animal blood because there was no death involved. I am really the only ethical source of animal products because I can give my consent to myself in a way that a sheep can't. But I almost certainly wouldn't eat it again.
Why don't you come around and cook with me? I think that I have found a recipe. A love and romance your taste buds will